One.
Hello. I don't see you. There. Now I see you. Well, I hope this is working. Something just seems a little different. I can't think of what it is. But anyways. Hey, howdy guys. It's been a while. I've been working. Trying to make the money and playing in my garden. And I am gonna show you here soon. What happens is they've been working on Comcast down here. Evidently, they took a mean hit during the hurricane. So for like the last week and a half, we wake up without any. We go to bed without any Comcast, and actually it just makes me work more. So I'm not distracted. But I've been wanting to get out some things, so I'm going to go with a quick one. You know, uh, because we got new people coming on, I got to keep them up. Here, I'm understanding that if I just keep saying keep making a video, that my place will grow, and even though this is the road less traveled, and we're not really worried about having people showing up and all that stuff, we still want we want this lesson, we want this knowledge to be kind of trickled out there in a way. It's the realest stuff that there is right now, and it's actually part of the fabric of our existence. And it's really neat to know these things. There's nothing wrong with knowing things, and it doesn't make you righteous or anything like that. Although, in God's eyes, you're righteous because He loves you, because you came, you have the sense to find them, and that's really all we have is a heads up on how to get hold of the Lord is all. Well, everybody else is giving them lip service and shit like that. So we try to get above all of that. So I'm going to have to X you down because my lessons today is this: what's in a name? I really like that idea. I've discovered them before. Every time I go to this one site. When I get there, I'll be able to tell you. But it's about like these linguists, this group of people get together, and they made this site up. It's what's in a name, and he except that they're running off the Bible as it's real. And now, if you have the ear that we have, you would know that there are certain things to listen for when it comes down to someone interpreting something about what they hear. And a good number of what our symbols are hidden in the name itself. Like Isaac, when Isaac is born, remember his name, it means laughter. And of course his mother, in her 90s is gonna, like, she laughed, they all laughed, I'm gonna have a child at 90 years old. So the thing is that laughter is the what you get out of it. It is, this child, once this child is born, and the three of you are all together, when we actually are all hooked up together, you're happy. You're happy and laughter, and it's not laughing at other people, but the hatred is gone, and being scared and all that stuff disappears, and being angry and stuff like that. It'll still show up because you're living, you're alive, but a lot of things that made you that way or caused you to, like, have this knee-jerk reaction are set aside somehow. So anyway, and it's only for the good of you, because it's a peace of mind. Israel is what the whole thing is about: honoring mother and father. All right, so what is in a name? Today's lesson is about Zipporah. All right, this is Moses's wife. And while I still have you out here, from what I know about this story or about her, she's the only one named. When Moses, and you have to understand, a lot of these guys that they run off and they hang out with somebody for a while. All right, he goes, there's these seven sisters. all right, which we know of as the Kundalini, the female part of the energies. So he's, he's and they introduce him to their father, which would be this guy named Jethro. That's what I call him, Jethro. But I'll find out more what his name is. But I've always seemed to have just called him Jethro, just as a just natural. I guess it's from watching the Beverly Hillbillies. Um, but the other sisters, they're not ever mentioned at all. But he marries her. All right. Now in our lessons, what you're supposed to listen for and hear, and I don't. I'm telling you ahead of time, yeah, because this is how I'm a teacher. I'm going to teach you this. I don't want it to slip past you. All right. What we have to listen for is we need to hear that she is some kind of a bird. All right. And yes, I do know about this ahead of time. Yeah. She's that one where that catches the child and, the wings, this whole idea of flight, the business of going and going into the situation where you have calmed the mind or cut off the mind and have slipped into the water and stuff like that. So, it's one of those things. It was Moses we are talking about. Yes. Yeah. All right. Moses' name too. We're going to do his, but you'll understand, his is about drawing from water. All right. Now, what's her side of the story? And it's really cool. So anyways, let's get on it now. So I'm going to minus you, and we're going to pull up Zipporah. All right. It's a really pretty name. Let's see. What we have here is we have Zipporah gives birth to two children, two boys, of course. All right. Grisham and Elazar. All right. Their names mean certain things as well, but you have to understand that this is the three. This is how it works. This is uh, Moses, Zipporah, and this firstborn. This is the Trinity. This is the one. All right. Just as in all these stories as they work. It says we know from Exodus chapter 2 verses 21 that Moses married Zipporah, the daughter of the Midianite priest Jethro. See? Also known as Raul. Verse 22 tells of Zipporah bore Moses' son, whose name was Gershom. Gershom means in my father's name. Okay? So he comes in his father's name. And he's also known as the stranger because he's the stranger in the strange land. And this is the whole idea even with Zipporah. Okay? But anyways, he's a Midianites, all right? Remember, he's also connected to the Midianite is the priest. Listen to that. God damn, I thought I waited till one went over before I started. But it's that time. 11:11 we got down here. The Midianite. This is the middle. This is the sixth chakra. This is that little cabin in the woods, that little place of refuge where you can come and rest for a little while. This is that contemplation before you go. Do you really want to go? Are you ready for this? Right before the seventh chakra, there's always this gathering place where they all come to this place. This is the sixth chakra after the works, which is what the six means. All right. So anyways, let's go and find out what does Zipporah actually mean. And so that it is a Hebrew word, and the way they write things, each one of those little glyphs actually means something, which helps to tell them what does that name mean. And they're very extent, in their when they're going around trying to find this out. But Zipporah is the first wife of Moses and the daughter of Jethro, of course, the Midianite priest. All right. Priest. He would be like Lot is also the gatekeeper. He would also be Saint Christopher. He's the one that's between you and the promised land, the gatekeeper. Let's see. We don't know much about Zipporah other than that she had 6 sisters and they remained unnamed. They really tell about Grisham, but later on they talk about him having 2 sons. That Elzire means that Elzari or whatever that name means something. It means that God saved or something. What have I got here? God has helped me. That's what his name means. All right. The etymology of the name Zipporah, it comes from an extensive words sapar, S-A-P-A-R. All right. It's a sound that is supposed to start off. Its roots, it comes from something phonetic in character. It's probably somewhat between a hissing and chirping or moaning and rustling. But besides being, this animal noise, there also seems to be a distinct undertone of these roots that has to do with a circular motion or coiling or returning, a simple going about in circles. Perhaps the roots here are known as a kind of a sound that represents or is rather repetitive of a cyclic character. All right. There's a high-pitched chirp or a low-pitched moan. The fact that they are continuously repeated made it ineligible to convey its roots. Makes it ineligible to convey its true roots. It's pretty interesting, right? It yields 2 nouns. The masculine noun denoting some kind of a snake from hissing. Psst. All right. So it is a noise. The noun is used once in Isaiah. The masculine side of this, and I can't say how it sounds, probably denotes the same creature as the previous noun. So it's talking again about some kind of hissing noise. There's another one, something about the sapia denoting cattle dung. It only occurs in Ezra. Assumed root, off here. Let's get away from that. Note some kind of doleful sound. The word sapa, S-A-P-A-P, denotes some kind of doleful sound. The verb occurs only 4 times, all in Isaiah. Twice figurative birds produce this sound, Isaiah, and twice spirits or spiritists, female spiritists. The verb so is derivative of the female noun sapus, which denotes the Bible's version of weeping willow. Remember, things are born and suck. You know that they're also talking, this is all of these people in this little place, they don't have anywhere to sit hardly, or they're supposed to be ready for us at any time. This particular part of our mind, this female energy, is waiting, just sitting there waiting for you to come back, just absolutely waiting. In all of this time, for eons and eons, and day in and day out, and hour after hour, until you finally make this connection. As Cinderella sitting by the fire in that little chair, it's St. Christopher's. He's laying in a bed that's smaller than he is, and he's a giant, so he's made uncomfortable all the time. He never really gets his rest. None of these guys do. They're constantly helping people over to the other side. But, I would say that they'd spend a lot more time sleeping because, there's not a lot of people crossing over, if you get what I mean. So anyways, we're getting the idea that there's a bird behind her name. All right. which is just what she needs to be. All right. Sapar two, because they get two of them, is an Assyrian as to cry or howl. So it's another noise. Imperative female noun, meaning bird. The noun is also sometimes spelled Sippor, Sippor, and this is in Leviticus. So, she is hidden throughout the Bible. This female energy is hidden constantly throughout the Bible. And here we find her under Zipporah, all right? Moses' wife. And you got to understand that means she never lived. She never lived. She's just the right side of his brain. That's mother, all right? She's also a mother of many, mother of all, and nations as well. All right? Let's see. Sapar doesn't occur as a verb in the Bible. Something like denoting a kind of round headdress, like a crown, is the name for sapar number 3. If you looked at it in the third meaning, so it's representing a crown, something round, a headdress, something like a dome, something on the head of her. All right. There's even another situation of it. It says sapar. This is a fourth reason. It says yields only an extent of the masculine noun meaning fingernail. I don't know what that one's going to be about. But I think it's about on. So at the overall, Zipporah meaning, the name Zipporah may mean any of the above that they spoke of, because this is what they're doing. They break down the word one piece at a time, and to find out what it really means, and then the overall meaning of this. So right now, the word Zipporah, if you were to look it up, it says beautiful. All right. Oh, that's really nice. That's a beautiful thing, but it doesn't necessarily tell you about the spiritual side of that. So, okay, it doesn't really tell you what that really means, and I would say that it may be there probably to distract you from this, because once you start picking this up, you're going everywhere. I go to all these females and see what their names mean, and it's usually along the lines of this female, this bird, this thing, this beautiful thing. So it's a part of our lessons for you to go out and learn how to do this. All right. So let's see. It is most commonly interpreted to mean bird, and so does NOBSE in the Bible Studies name list. Brings more distinctive little bird, possibly to indicate that Zipporah doesn't necessarily mean bird in the sense of eagle or ostrich. All right. Okay, so I'm going to pull you back out. Is this it down here? Yep. Hey, I'm learning. I'm learning how to do it. I know I look funny when I'm reading things, but I look funny no matter what. So I don't give a damn. All right. It's the teacher. Uh-oh, Marika's up. So anyways, birds. She's the dove. When the dove descends down on Jesus, when he gets baptized, the child is born, right? This little child, all these children, escape the clutches of the monster. All these guys, when Moses is born as that child, it's picked up by the emperor's wife, who takes care of him, These are all wonderful stories. Then they are cyclic or something circular, because they all are meaning the same thing. All the stories in there, you see, they're going up and down and up and down, and they use the number system the whole time. So, in key instances, when we are talking about this, and I'm going to read the one where God gives Abraham the promised land. It's either him or Moses, but remember, he's giving it to all these people. He gives it to you, the promised land. Once you make it over here, he promised that he's going to give this to you. And all these people in the Bible are going and taking the promised land, you know, by force. They're literally sacking, these walled cities. They're busting them down and sacking them and killing all the inhabitants. That's not how you go about getting the promised land. But that's when you get over there, it's really that promised land to kick your ass. So there's this story that when they're out in exile, every time they go out there, when they meet those giants, this is the one we're going to be going through, and the symbolism behind the grasshopper. Um, it's the man side of that story that lies and says, "Oh, there's giants over there, and they eat themselves and stuff like that," and you don't recognize that because they don't tell you, they don't bring the two chapters together. That's 13 and 14. So 13 is 4 about the world, so they're talking about all this crazy shit, all these names and all these firstborns, and all of these are going on this trip. But uh, when it comes down to it, God's given them the promised land. And so, Moses sends people out to go and check out the promised land, to go, his scouts, to check it out. And so they brought back favorable things. That some men in the group came out and said, he says, this, and this, but in the next chapter, in 5, which is about the body and the mind, well, is those men that talked up that shit and brought those evil thoughts upon this thing, and made this out to be evil. Bring them out. Bring them out. Bring them out. I'm going to kick their ass. And he does. So this is weeding out the people that are non-believers. All right. These are the people who are making God out to be an evil thing, and that this land out to be an evil thing. That's going to be the background to that. I think I let that out the door already. Damn. Well, anyways, it's a good read. It's a fun read, and it's fun to follow it along. I've done it several times by myself, so to make it easier and do it like this. But the Comcast is constantly going down, so I hardly get any chance that I could do my job, and I come over and it's not working, and then I come over and I look at it, oh, it's working, and then in the middle of the work it quits working. Who cares, right? You guys, I hope you're finding all of this information pretty fun and enlightening. Okay, spread it around, teach somebody about it. You're only helping out the world. All right. I don't know what kind of goodness we get out of it, but the idea is that the world could use a little bit more light, and this is how you go about getting it. All right. And only those people that really want to find the Lord are the ones that are going to be the ones that can participate. They have to really, they've been wanting it. This is the job. Otherwise, they don't get the works. They don't get the proper works in. All right. Don't mean you got to read the Bible. It means you just got to be unhappy, be part of the lowly people. They're easy to spot. Real easy to spot. All right. Love you. And I hope you have a blessed day.